Oh.
Welcome to Yeshiva Daf. We're holding in Zevachim Daf Nun Aleph. As mentioned, we're using here the chart that has 4x4 dimensions. You have Hekesh teaching to a Hekesh Ksel Shovel Kavachim Bin Nav. Then you have Ksel Shovel teaching to a Hekesh Ksel Shovel Kavachim Bin Nav, so on and so forth. What we got to in Daf Nun and base, where we ended yesterday, was in the middle of the Kavachim. Something that learns the Kavachim. Does it teach by Hekesh, by Gzil Shava? And the last thing that we learned yesterday was, does it teach by Kavachomer? So the Gemara said that the reason why you should teach by Kavachomer is because you learn Kavachomer from somewhere else. So where you learn Kavachomer from? You learn Kavachomer from Gzil Shava. But Gzil Shava itself learns a Kavachomer. So I'm learning Kavachomer from a Kavachomer to do a Kavachomer. That's a triple Kavachomer. So the Gemara said that you can't do. That's called ben b'nei kavachomer. It's too much. It's too much of kavachomer. So therefore, the Gemara decided. The Gemara said to do it with a hekesh. Very good. So instead of doing the kavachomer from Gzil Shava, which learns from the kavachomer, learn kavachomer from a hekesh, which now learns the kavachomer, and then it's only kavachomer ben kavachomer, and that's how we ended the Gemara yesterday. And if you look at the chart, just now that we're looking at the chart, if we took the top is A B C D. And the sides are 1, 2, 3, 4. If you look at box B3, it's the Shava Kavachomer. That's learn Kavachomer. That's what we're trying to learn from. And then it becomes the triple Kavachomer. So then we moved it to Hekesh, which is A3, which is now learn Kavachomer. And that's what we got to Kavachomer for Kavachomer. Now the Gemara says the last point regarding Kavachomer, and the last point regarding Kavachomer is as follows. So move here to the side because of the charger. And that is, the Gemara brings over here. We have to learn now what's the last thing to learn. Once we learn Kavachomer, we look, does Kavachomer teach Hekesh? Kavachomer teach Gzil Shava? Kavachomer teach Kavachomer? Now what am I left with? Does Kavachomer teach Pinyan? That's the last thing. That's what we're holding. Says the Gemara. Tova lama Kavachomer, Ma'ushi lamid b'Pinyan. Can it teach me an or not? That is about 9 lines from the bottom of Daf Nun base. The beginning of the line is the word halamet. Over halamet, that's where we start. There's a dot in the blue Gemaras. Yeah. So the Gemara says, so again, Dober halamet kavachomer ma'u shilam b'nanav Omar avira toshma molak v'nintzes treifo. He did Malika, according to Malika. And once he did Malika, the bird, you find the bird is treifo. Okay. So what's the shaila? The shaila is, does it have a fidelity can't eat? The question does it have tum. So what it says, bird is metamo only where? When you swallow it. That's a din by a bird. Tumas beisablio. Is it when in the throat, when you swallow it, you touch it, there's no tuma. There's only tuma by beisablio. Once you did milika, there's no tuma. But now there's a milika and it's a treifum. Does it metamo beisablio or not? Machlekes. The Meir says not. Really says yes. Mama Meir Kavachomer. Kavachomer. Man nivlas behemo shemetamo b'mago v'maso. A nivela of an animal, if you touch it or carry it, is metame with a maso. You chayav for touching it or carrying it. I mean, you become tummy. Shchitaso metares trefaso mentumaso. When you shecht it, it's not, even though it's treifa, it's not tum anymore. Shechita takes it away. So if you take an animal, causes tumah when she is in a veil. Dead animal. What's the word in English? Carcass. Causes tumah. But if it was shechted, it doesn't cause tumah. What happens if it's treifa and it was shechted? Also doesn't cause tumah. Still, so then is what?
The veil is of causes for
No. Only by Sabliya. So he says, so we learn from here, the din is that shitaso metasto tumaso nenevas oif shein mitami magomaso. A bird, there's no magomaso. Ein din shed shitaso metaris tefaso metumaso. So Kavachomer teaches you that a miliko of a bird will take away the tumah even though it's treifa. Now we're continuing another stage. Ma matzin, what?
Hey, it's not that even though it's straight.
Even though it's treiful. Even though it's treiful, you have a bird with treiful.
Even so, the Malika helps.
The Malik helps not to be not cause two is a blio. Ma matzinu b'shchito shemachsharto be'achilo. Gemara says you mechalek. Shchito is machshar be'achilo, meaning if you do shchita, you have a shchita, so you're allowed to eat it in chulin. Every shchita works. So it has the so it takes away the two of the treifel. Av miliko shemachsharta be'achilo tetei treifaso mitumaso. So we're learning the Kavachomer teaches you. I maybe I wasn't clear when I said before. The Kavachomer teaches you for shchita. What's the Kavachomer? Fine, shchita by an animal takes away treifa, even though the tumor is more chamor. So by if the tumor is more kal, of course the shchita will take away the tumor. Good. Now we do amatzinu. If shchita works, so milika should work. So you see from a Kavachomer, I learned a big enough. Once I found what's a big enough, if I find the concept somewhere, I say it works everywhere. Says the Gemara. So that's we learned the Kavachomer big enough. So the Gemara Rabbi Yossi Omer. Dayo kinivlas behimo toiro sheshchitos v'tayoso v'loy milikoso. Basically disagrees. He says no. All you learn with Kavachomer is the shchita, not the miliko. Kavachomer from behimo. What works for behimo? Only shchita. So by off also only shchita will work, not milika. Even though milika does work, but he disagrees with being enough. Okay.
Isn't Malika just for
Yeah. Can't do milika for
the
others.
other one by Behema, we're talking about chulin, not just combined.
Right? We're talking about everything.
It's not exactly the same.
Oh, so you want to say is it lomed me chulin? By it does work by kosher as well, so that's why maybe it will be less of a question. But yes, it's a good hara. Now, what you're saying is the good. Let's see what the Gemara says in a moment. Says the Gemara, Velohi. Don't bring around from here. Hasom tihavehi mishchito du chulin ka'asyon. It's coming shchuti of chulin. That's really what you're saying. Let's see Loshem Rashi. Rashi says, first Rashi. Velohi hasom tihavehi mishchito du chulin ka'asyon. V'hake perush. Hasom ikatami de'amir l'yod b'binanav ele mehekesh t'zois teresa behimo ve'oif. He's not learning b'binanav. K'lakar pek chadasayif. I mean, they're made crash k'chon v'darash. Even if you want to learn from Binanav, it's not a good raya. There remain milika b'kotche b'shchitas chulin gomar havel milamed d'chulin. That's what you said. So you mean what Rashi brings is two ways to understand the answer of the Gemara. One way to understand the answer of the Gemara says, no. You said you learn Kavachomer. And for the Kavachomer, you want to learn what? A Binanav? No, we didn't learn from Binanav. We learned from Ekesh. Because we're learning from Zois Tois Abeim Abeoif, which talks about Chulin. We're not talking about the Binanav, we're talking about Ekesh. And we said before that depends on your papa and do we have a raya or not? That's Ekesh. That's Ekesh. That's called Ekesh. So that's Ekesh, not Binanav. It's Ekesh. So the Ekesh we already spoke about before. That's a different thing. If we have it on the right. Second explanation, it is a Binanav. But although it's a Binanav, that only it's the Milamed is Chulin. Like Dr. Rosh just said. If the Milamed is Chulin, it's a machlekes. Do you go based on the Milamed or based on the Lamed, based on the source or based on what you learn from? What are you learning too? So the Milamed is Chulin, is that girl according to Papa? Yes. According to the Mazutra not. So says Rashi, we have a raya. Maybe we don't have a raya at all. Maybe we have a raya according to our papa, but we don't have a raya according to everybody. Very good. Says the Gemara.
That's what you're thinking the call of Rashi lo nefsha?
Yeah, according to Rashi, I don't have pshat views. Tosis learns a little differently. You do have pshitus from the Maskal of the Gemara is you do have a raya that does work for being enough. I don't remember if it's still machlokes or not. Okay, let's say it. Says the Gemara, Dover alone b'yanav. Now, we have the last line in the sheet. We went through all three. Hekesh teaching to Hekesh Yeshova Kachor b'yanav. Yeshova teaching Hekesh Yeshova Kachor b'yanav. Kavachomer teaching Hekesh Yeshova Kachor b'yanav. Now we're left with b'yanav. B'yanav teaching. How does b'yanav go? If you learn from b'yanav, can you go and teach it in these four ways? Says the Gemara, Dover alone b'yanav. Maushi lamed behekesh b'gzel shavo b'kavachomer b'yanav. Do you learn these four things? Says the Gemara.
Previous Gemara, it doesn't happen like that.
Right, because here we basically try to answer it. We'll see that we don't have answers to all of them. From these four questions, I'll give you one answer. What's the answer? Why do we say that if you have lino badam, which means nicer badam, so it's still kosher im alolo yerit, meaning if you left it on his back, it's kosher. Shari lan bimurim kosher. By imurim, if you put it on his back, im lanu alolo yerit. That's a learn to be enough. Lan bimurim kosher. How do I know lan bimurim kosher? Shari lan bebasa kosher. Right? You learn it from bebasa. Why basa is kosher? So Rashi says there's something very interesting. Not really kosher. It's kosher because it's not puzzle. Because by shlomim, how many days can you eat shlomim? 2 days. So there's no lino. That's what Rashi learns. This disagrees a little bit over here. But you see, you see Imurim learns from Basar, and Dam learns from Imurim. Right? So you learn being out, you didn't have. Says the Gemara, Yoitze will learn the what? The Yoitze, Hoyil v'Yoitze kosher beboma. When you have Yoitze by Dam, will be kosher if it went up in his back. Because we find that there is kashrus by Yoitze by Bama. Again, similar idea, but Bama, there's no Yoitze because there's no mechitzis. Tome, or we find Tuma, Ucho with Tzibur. So that's why you see there's a heter in these places. So that's his mutter also here if Omer on the Mizbech. Chutz Manoi, Pigul, Hulu Miratzah Pigul. Pigul doesn't ruin the korban. The korban has to be kosher in order to be able to be effective. You have a hekesh. Shekiblu psulim v'zarku domoi. That if the psulim did it, it will be kosher. Hanach psulim dechazu la'avodas tzibur. Right. So you're seeing the psulim that are the tzibur, the b'diavad, they work for the tzibur. Rashi brings a kohen tummy. Kohen tummy is possible. But by over the tzibur, you can do avodah if two want to be tzibur. So that was the rise that all these things, if you have all of mizbeach, lo yerdu. But the main idea what it brings is from the lan by dam, you learn from imurim, and imurim you learn from basar. So you see it being enough, being enough. Says the Gemara, 1 second. What do you bring a raya? Bring a raya, blood from Imurim. Imurim from Basar. Basar, that's the way it's supposed to be. It's not puzzle. Puzzle you eat, Ishlamim, Ibasa, eat for 2 days. That's a shaver. That's supposed to look at Rashi. He died double to Kayat from Imurim Shlebech Shem, you know, Ibasa, Dech Sher Bekach. That's the way to eat it. How can you learn from there? Fetun, another question Rashi explains, the second part of the Gemara is, there's no Yoitze by the Mishkan, by Bama. So what's your ayah? Says no. It says Torah achas yelakol oilim lo yerdu. Right? Everything is learned from there. So you may so the more is Poisha, there's no raya. Why there's no raya? I want to learn being half and being half. So more, no, it's not being half and being half. It's Smachtavam. Look what Rashi. So it's Torah achas kol oilim lo yerdu. K'dichtiv al moed kol alayla. V'chol raya salolam we should demand mizoysi oilo. Tos absuli. Ma'ishnani me'ani. V'ayikor mikro v'asmachta ba'almu. Is that all? We know there's 3 exclusions, so we want to just tell you this is not the exclusion. But it's not the main thing you learn from there, not from being outside, don't have a right. Okay. So that's what it is. So according to Maskar and the Gemara, we don't have anymore binyan av. And binyan av kal v'chomer I have written down over here that they also according to Rashi, because according to the Posh the Gemara did not address it. Okay. Says the Gemara, that was the end of the sukkah. We learned the 4 times 4. Now we're going into Hemshach HaSukkah. Sheyore Adam, the leftover of the blood, Shiraim. Shiyori means Shiraim. What do you do with the Shiraim? Talk about Chatois premiums. The Chatois that were done inside the Beis Hamikdash, inside the Eichel. You have to go outside of the Eichel and reach the Mizbeach HaChitzoin and do the Shiraim over there. Right? That's how it works. You have the inside of the Beis Hamikdash. Outside of the Beis Hamikdash, you have the Zara. And there, and the outside, that's where you have the Mizbeach. You have to go to the Mizbeach and pour the blood on the Mizbeach, the Shiraim. Says the Gemara, my title. What's the reason on Makro, El Yesoid Mizbeach Oilo, Asher Pesach Oilo Moyed? It says that Yesoid has to be Asher Pesach right into the Pesach. There's a words over here with the plug of a ratio, the sheet that says take it out. But it means, we don't need these words. It says Pesach Oilo Moyed, the Yesoid, which is right next to the door, which means as you go out from the Heichal, the first Yesoid you meet is which Yesoid? Yesoid Ma'arov. Face to the west. Because you're going in Beis Hamikdash from east to west. As you're going to the west, that's where it is. So what Torah Bana Yesoid Mizbach Ha'oilo V'lo Yesoid Mizbach Rim. We're looking at 3 drushes. For the fact that it says Yesoid Mizbach Ha'oilo, Rashi goes on to say it says Yesoid Mizbach Ha'oilo 3 times. Right? Rashi brings this 5 parshas. Maybe just see the beginning of Rashi. Yeah, Rashi is the 5th line from the middle lines in Rashi. Rashi says, Chamesh parshas sehem bechatos shapar Mashiach shleilem sheprimiyos shesir nosish kivsed yachid shesir shepchitzonius. You have 5 chatos, 2 internal ones, 3 external ones. B'shtayim b'primiyos, in the 2 internal ones, ubesir nasi ksiv b'shvicha shirem yisoy mizbach oil. It says Yisoy Mizbach Ha'oilo in these 3. The other 2, it says Yisoy Mizbach. So the shaila is, why did it say Yisoy Mizbach Ha'oilo? That's what we're referring to. So it says the Gemara, Yisoy Mizbach Ha'oilo, Yisoy Mizbach Abnimi. You pour the blood on the Yisoy of the outside Mizbach, not the inside Mizbach. And Yisoy Mizbach Ha'oilo, Ein lo Yisoy Leprimei Atzpoi. Not only that I don't spill it, or pour it on the Yisoid of the Primi, there's no Yisoid to Primi. There's no base. The Primi did not have any Yisoid. And Yisoid Mizbach Ha'oilo, 10 Yisoid leMizbach Shaloilo, meaning that also korbanos that are done in Mizbach Ha'oilo need Shiraim. Because we have a pasuk that says that the inner korbanos, you have to put them in the Yisoid. How do I know the outside korbanos you have to put on the Yisoid? For this pasuk. Mizbach Ha'oilo, give Yisoid. Have you said you have the shrine to the Yisoid. Maybe all it tells you is that you need to do the zrika. You do the zrika on a place that has a Yisoid. We're going to see Be'ez Hashem later in the Gemara that there was one corner of the Mizbeach that did not have a Yisoid. Because the Yisoid went on 3 corners. Rashi learns that the Yisoid went, if this is the Mizbeach, the Yisoid started here, went around, and went here. Is it southeast or is it?
At a little corner, one a little corner.
Yeah, but which one did not have it? I forgot which one it was. We'll see in a moment. But
Wasn't it on?
what did you say? Southeast, maybe southeast. So one corner that I have. So maybe it's going to tell you that this Riko needs to be done on the corners that have a Yisoid beneath them. Now that you have to do Shiraim in the Yisoid. That's what I was asking.
This was the second.
Binyamin. Yeah.
No.
Yehuda.
Right.
Yeah. Rabbi Yomi did not have. Yeah. We'll get to this soon. Yeah. What? Yeah, so the Gemara said maybe. The Gemara said the third one, second tells you there's no base for the primi. The first one says you don't throw the blood. It's telling you to put it on the outside mizbeach, not inside. No, the first one is that the covenant is different drasha. That's a Pesach al Moed. Yeshiva Zevachim tells you that whatever chatoras that are inside, you have to pour them at the shirayim on the outside mizbeach. Second is I don't have a base for the inside mizbeach. That's second pasuk. Third pasuk that Yeshiva Zevachim tells you that the outside mizbeach also has it. You need to put the shirayim in the inside. The leftovers. So, well, who said? Maybe when it tells you now they have to put shirayim in the inside. The leftovers put in the inside. Just to tell you that the zrika is done where there is a site.
On the mizbeach that has this.
The mizbeach has a site, on the corner that has a site. Says the Gemara. Oh, yeah, no, elo mizbeach shelo elo yelo site. Amar Yishmael kavachem. Ma shirayim shein mechaprin tuni misayit. Tchila sayit shemechaper zayidin shudin misayit. Whenever you have shirayim, you must have a site. You put the shirayim in the site. So Koshkan, the Zrika should be in a place that has a site. That's what Yishmael learns. Amar Rekiva, Ma shirayim shein mechaprin vein boyim lekapara. He adds another line. Yishmael said, it's not mechaprin. Kiva said, a mechaprin vein boyim lekapara. What is going to add? The Gemara is going to speak about it later, next tomorrow's daf. Tuni misayit. Tchilas oilo should be chaper subal kapara. The oilo that is kapara and boyim lechaper, and this to say the sake of him. Just with an added sentence. If came out Tamud Loim, he says Bachoilo, Tin says Bachoilo, so why don't you say Bachoilo? Already know the Kavachimer to tell you the Shirayim go on their side. Now the Gemara is going to go through this brisa again and teach it. Now we have, I don't know if it's called surprise or disappointment. When you turn the page, we'll have something interesting. Says the Gemara, Omamav, El Yisoid is Bachoilo, below Yisoid is Bachabnimi. You put the blood, the Shirayim, on the outside of his back and not on the inside of his back. Says the Gemara, the Gufi. Tells you the Gufi, that's what Binyon was saying before, to tell you that you have to go outside. You go outside where you put it. But who said that you can't put it in the inside one? Says the Gemara, that we already learned before. Another puzzle. So that's why this tells you something else. El Yisoid means what's the second? So it's not going to teach you without the alpha with base. 10 Yisoid Mizbach Shaloilo. You have to make sure that there's a Yisoid Mizbach Shaloilo and not the other Mizbach. He's like a daitim kedechtiv hani lam likro the shirayim. If you want to tell me this, if it's come to tell you to put in Mizbach Shaloilo, so what do I need the Gemara skipped to the third one. Yisoid Mizbach Shaloilo. Yisoid Mizbach Shaloilo, the third one. That 10 you say is about showing the shirayim of the outside of his back, you put it in the inside, you put it in the outside of his back. So more, what's a chiddush? He's like a daito kedechtiv hani lameli lameli kol shirayim aboy avidlu. I mean, what would you think? Where would you do the shirayim? Well, the more says a bit more than that. More says the inside karbonis you do outside. Oh, what's that? Let's get to that in a moment. The word says the inside karbonis, you do it outside. So the outside karbonis, of course you do it outside. Like, well, why did I tell you do it outside? Well, what else should you put it? Says the Gemara, right? So it says the Gemara, maybe the hafik matach, maybe you turn it around. So what the blue rays of love. The baroi the gavoy, the baroi. Who said? You say kavachomer. The inside goes outside. So outside, of course, goes outside. No, the inside goes outside because you have to. I give you like a Josh, like a devar. You have to have all the mizbachos involved in the krov. So when you're doing the inside, the leftovers are doing the outside. When you're doing the outside, the leftovers are doing the inside. Yeah, you have a shalom and achva. Maybe that's what it means. We don't know. That's what it means. Says the Gemara, that's a question. What do you mean? There's no yisoid there.
You have to do it on mizbeach that has the same.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. What's a chiddush? What? Yeah, That's what it says. What just builds it up? So it has to be this way, and that's to tell you something else. Because if not, so what? So because I don't have a Yesod. So it teaches you that there is a Shirayim by Oilo. Says the Gemara, or maybe, as the Christ said, maybe it'll tell you, meaning that what? To tell you that the Zrika needs to be done where the Yesod is. Not the Shirayim. But the Zrika should be with the Yesod. And then the Gemara brought a Kavachim for that. Says the Gemara, Michtiv el Yesod Oilo, el Yesod Mizbach Oilo Ksiv. It says Yesod. Why do you have to add the word Mizbach? If you want to tell me that it's an idea of Shirayim, so I understand why I said Mizbach, because I want to tell you that all what's done in Mizbeach Oilo, all what's done in that Mizbeach has a Shirayim. People tell you, no, there's no Shirayim, unless where it says clearly. All I'm telling you is just to do it where there's a site, just say a site. I have to add the word Mizbeach. Says the Gemara, you have a Ktiv Yesod Oila, Vamini Beskifo Yesod. Hashtag Ktiv Yesod Bach Oila, Agaka De Yesod. I'll tell you what. You know what I'll tell you? Here's what I'll tell you. Here's what we didn't know. Let's say it's going to tell you to do Zriko on the Yesod, where the Yesod is. But where should I do the Zriko? I would think that maybe you do the Zrika. How does this Yisbech built? It's the base is 1 amma high, and then it goes 1 amma in. Then it goes up 5 amma, reaches what's called the Soiviv. And then it goes 1 amma in. And then it goes 3 amma high, it reaches the top of the Yisbech, where you have the Karnas. So maybe you have to do Zrika on the standing point of the Yesod. Here, meaning the low amma on the floor. Maybe that's what you do Zikr. Maybe you don't do Shirah. Hi, where it says Yesod Oila, so it tells you to do it on the
Vertical.
On the vertical, not on the horizontal. That's what it says Yisbech Oila should be like a Mizbeach, that it's a top of like a Mizbeach is done on top of it. So you do on top of it, and then it goes on the same. We understood we're not doing a top mamish because you have to do it in the corner. So once I'm not doing it here, I do on top of this, and I'll do on top of Mash, I'll do it on the wall over here, which that's what we do. We do it on the main wall on the corner. So I'm just telling you to do above the Yesod, not on the Yesod. That's what I'm going to say. That's what you have to tell you Yesod Mizbach Ha'olah, tell you it's above and not on the side. So you say, how do you say Mizbach? So Mizbach, tell you it's above and not on the side. So that's the thing why it says the Gemara. On the vertical. Now I do it basically on top of the horizontal. So that goes Shmuel. It says Gag Yesod Lam Likro Kavachimu. It's Kavachimu. Mashir Echato Shem Chaperes Tu Negag Yesod. Tchilas Soish Chaperes and Dinch Tu Negag Yesod. Well, just reiterating what Shmuel said before in the Brisa, so it's a little more words. When I have Shirayim of Achatos, you have to put it on the top. It says Al Yesod. So Koshkan the Zriko, which is the Chaperes, which is more important, of the Oilo, has to be on top of the Yesod. Why didn't you tell the pussy with that? Kiva said very similar. For tomorrow, we'll see what exactly Machlekes is. Mashir Echat Hashem Mechapim Ben Boim Lechaper to Negag Yesod. Chiyasosh Chaperes or Bal Chaper and to Negag Yesod. So I know from Kavachimer that if it's not coming to Mechaper, of course the Zrika needs to be above the Yesod, because if the Shirayim of Echad needs to be above the Yesod, so Koshka the Zrika. Kematov Leim Yesod Yisbach Ha'olah. That's why it says Yesod Yisbach Ha'olah. Ten Yesod Lemizbach Shaloilah. That's where you learn that all the Karbanis of Mizbach Ha'olah need to have Shirayim going in the Mizbach.
If you have Shirayim, you have Shirayim.
If you have Shirayim. So we have over here 3 Pesukim. First, Yesod Yisbach Ha'olah. First one tells you whatever's inside, you should do it outside. Second, Yesod Yisbach Ha'olah tells you there's no Yesod Yisbach Aprimi. Third, Yesod Yisbach Ha'olah tells you all the Karbanis done on Mizbach Ha'olah, the leftover will be done on Yesod Mizbach. Very good. Stop over here. Be'ezer Hashem will continue from here tomorrow night. Good night.